Let's talk Love Island, episode 24. And I do want to name this episode something like May the Best Man Win, because here we have this triangle between Chris, Shelly, and Ace. And then we have like the Nick, Sierra, and Elon. This is a really good episode, y'all. I want to start from the very beginning and just get straight into it. So I have a few notes. So the episode starts with Shelly and Olandria. So they are sitting outside and they are discussing last night's decision when Taylor picked Clark over Olandria. Olandria did say that she's ready to close that chapter. Let's just hope that she was really sincere and really concrete in that decision, because I would really like to see Olandria move on, because I know it's not just me to say I felt embarrassed for her in that space of delusion that she was in on the last episode. I really didn't like that for her, so I really do hope she can move on. She did have a concern that she doesn't know anyone there that she can explore. I feel like everyone is coupled up and it's kind of a slippery slope. But I would say that there's Elon, and you also want to focus on those couples that are not really concrete yet, like the Andrina and Brian. That is also someone she can connect with. I don't think Pepe and the girl that Grayson, I think that's who he's with, I don't think they're a good match. So Olandria definitely has options, but I would love to see them bring new bread and new meat in for her. I do love how the girls kind of backs Olandria and being like, girl, F him. And, if that's what you want to do, we got your back. And if you want to continue to chase them, we got your back. I love that aspect of friendship. If you want to be stupid, so I'm going to be right there with you until you realize that you're being stupid and go another direction. So I love that. Andrea did share in that sitting with her and Shelly and Sierra that her and Nick were matched to be in a couple once they were eliminated. So she gave Sierra the whole lowdown on how that happened. She did discuss the kiss that her and Nick had kissed. And she immediately said, we both realized that there were no romantic feelings and the feeling was mutual. The reason why I like Sierra is that she seems like an ultimate girl's girl and someone that can kind of glaze over things like that. Because I know I would have been a little tight. About it. It wouldn't, but I do understand the game. But even still, for myself, with me understanding the game, I would not have been okay with it. Sierra also did mention that she was happy that it was Olandria as opposed to one of the other girls that were in the villa. And why do y'all think that is? So I questioned. I was like, is she happy it was Olandria because she thought or knows that Nick is not attracted to Olandria? Because let Nick tell it, that's not true. He said she was really beautiful and he was initially attracted to her when entering the villa. And that could also be true. So my question is, was Sierra just not threatened by Olandria? Is she happy that she felt like it was Olandria because she knows that they're friends and that Olandria would practice some kind of restraint because of her friendship with Sierra? That's what I wanted to know. They skipped to Taylor and Clark. And Taylor fashion, he's like, yeah, I never want you to be stuck between a triangle ever again. I don't never want two girls like me at the same time. I don't never want a girl like me at the same time. And the way that Taylor mumbles, it's so annoying to me. And if they like it, I love it. However, Taylor says he followed his heart because his mind was telling him to pick Olandria because he felt like maybe it was the right thing to do. And I think as a viewer, a lot of the viewers expected him to do that because it seemed like the right thing to do. However, he chose to go with Clark, to follow his heart. And that is exactly what he did. So I'm not going to blame Taylor for doing that. I'm strictly going to say it is what it is. Clark doing the ugly grin every time Taylor mentions why he chose her. Now, I hate this little ugly grin that she does. But I can't be mad at the girl for doing her part in securing a man on this show. Shelly and Ace. They sit outside And they share I miss yous with one another because we know that they are just continuing from when they both chose one another. This is the first time that he asked her about Chris. I don't think that Ace wanted to hear this, but Shelly does mention that it's funny because he's a lot like you. And I don't think Ace wanted to hear that. She does mention to Ace that, yeah, there was a connection and she would love to continue to explore it. And I don't think Ace was pleased with that. But to Shelly's face, he definitely didn't share those sentiments. He told her to just make sure the old boy is ready because he's going to fight for his lady. And that's how that conversation ended. Zach and Amaya have a conversation. And this is one time that I was pleasantly surprised to see that they weren't over talking one another. Zach K already talks super fast. Amaya is super loud and talks pretty fast as well. So I was happy to see them learn how you talk, I talk. You talk, I talk. I was pleased with that. He started talking about how his damn cat ran away. I do not care. I don't even like cats. Anywho, Elon, Chris, and Brian, they are walking out to have conversation as well. At this point, Nick and Sierra is already outside. Sierra asked, just like I would have asked naturally, why didn't you get picked? Because Nick is such a cutie pie. I would have been shocked coming back into the villa knowing that Nick didn't get picked as well. He did mention that he had a connection, he thought, with Jaden, but it was very surface. He also told her how the elimination happened, how he was brought back and met at a car with him, how they had to pretty much couple together in order for both of them to stay in the villa. And he kind of shared the same story with her that Olandria did. And I'm glad that the story matched up so Sierra didn't have to be like, well, she told me something different and you telling me something else. So he did share about the kiss. He said that the feelings were mutual, that it wasn't a romantic thing. That it's a damn fly in here. He getting on my damn nerves. But anyway, he asked Sierra how she feels about him kissing Olandria. And again, Sierra says she doesn't feel a way. She's kind of happy that it was Olandria. And again, I asked the question, and I would love for y'all to share y'all sentiments in the comments about why do you think that is that Sierra felt comfortable with it being Olandria as opposed to one of the other island girls. Please help me understand that. Now, Nick is expressing to Sierra that now how he just wants to spend time with her. The issue that I've had with Nick for quite some time is questioning are his actions genuine? Because I felt like Nick blows where the wind blows. If a cute girl had came in this villa, I think that Nick would have had a hard time choosing between Sierra and that girl, just like Taylor would have. I think that he blows easily with the wind, but I think this time really lit a fire under his butt, and it's kind of pushed him to commit to just Sierra because his ass was on the line and about to get eliminated. And I don't want to downplay his feelings for Sierra because I do think he genuinely likes her. But I think that now seeing that you are not everybody's cup of tea. You are not always going to be a hot commodity and your ass can be out this villa. He needed that sense of you could be kicked the fuck on out of here in order for him to get with the program that you do have a match. So are you okay with Lock and closing off? I think that's something that he needs to ask himself, but I don't know if he's all in for Sierra. I just think that there was not an option for him that he truly liked, like his mom. So that's that. Nick ends the conversation saying that he's tired of testing the relationship and just wants to be with her. He also asked Sierra, how did she know or when did she know that Elon was not the one for her? And she kind of said that she just didn't feel that spark with him like she feels with Nick. Like she just doesn't feel a romantic spark. And my only concern with Sierra, and I think I said this in my last video, is that she is caught up in the 30-second sex that her and Nick shared. And when you get dickmatized, your thoughts are boggled. You are not thinking with a clear mind and a clear head. So do you really like Nick? Is this connection deep like you say it is, or are you blinded by the sex? Because at some point in Casa Amor, when you were talking to Elon and some of the conversations that you were having, you mentioned that the connection with Elon makes you question if your connection with Nick was beyond the surface. because you did mention that you and Nick's relationship is a lot more playful, and Elon made you think. And I do think we should be with people who challenge us, outside of our normal thought processes, and that just doesn't run for your lady parts. They actually want to explore you on another level first before reaching that spot. So I really thought Elon would be a good match for her. And if Ciara would have picked Elon, I think that would have been a good decision for her. If I'm not, I'm not even being funny. I like Nick and her together, but if she would have picked Elon, I wouldn't have been mad at that either. And it would have been nice to see him fight for her for once. She had to go through this whole debacle watching him with Bella, Why not make him go through it? And I don't want to be a tit for tatter, but I'm just saying, who picks these songs for Love Island? Because during these chats that they have, the songs are lit. The playlist is lit. I need to look up a Love Island playlist, because during that chat between Nick and Ciara, they were playing You're Still the One I Run To. That's Shania Twain. I love it. I think the choice of music selection is always. Moving right along to Iris and TJ. They connect in soul ties. They both say they're really happy that they both pick one another. He said that no girl showed interest in him. Wanilla. Now, how would you have taken that if you were Iris? Because I took it like, well, I ain't had no choice but to think about your ass, because nobody else in the villa wanted me. So I was just stuck with the last thoughts that I had with you. I would have took it a little bit like that. But he also did mention that even when he did pull people aside for chats, he didn't connect with anybody in the way that he connected with her. And again, I have told y'all that I really like Iris, Ciara, and Shelly. They are my top 3. So I'm happy that Iris is finding something, in somebody. And seriously, I really was rallying for TJ to go for a long time. So it's happy to see him express some genuine interest in somebody too. And so I'm excited to see where this is gonna go. Andrina and Brian, let's talk about them, y'all. Let me take a little sip of my drink. Y'all, I made a real good margarita tonight, and I'm trying not to show y'all my true colors by gulping it down all at once. It's so good. I'm gonna try to take my time, so hold on. So Andrina and Brian, although they haven't gotten a lot of camera time, this is the most that we've seen of them on this episode. They both connected and said they feel good about their actual connection. She did tell him, though, that when she walked in here, she did make a promise that she was interested in getting to know all of the guys, and she didn't just want to settle very quickly. And he agreed. And I don't know if he agreed because that's how he really feels, or he agreed because it was a dagger to his ego, and he dare not show her that, he's insecure or that he's bothered by her wanting to visit other connections. So I really don't know with Brian, because again, we haven't gotten to know him much. We don't know anything about him. Huda and Chris connect, and she says she was really happy and she hasn't been happy a long time. And I am happy that she found some happiness outside of Jeremiah, because I didn't know if she would ever make it to this point, or if she would be here long enough to get to this point. She said that she was shocked that he picked her over Shelly. They talked about where each other lives. She did expose that she lives in LA. She said that her lease is coming up soon, and that she has talked to her child's father about if she were to ever relocate. Chris also shared that he is currently actively playing ball overseas, and so he doesn't have a home address in LA, because he's typically only there for maybe a month or so. So when he does come from a month, he stays with family, which is understandable. And she didn't look at him as if that was a turnoff either. So I was happy that she was open with that. When she mentions that her lease was almost up, and she kind of mentioned her daughter and the relationship with her child's father, I do love how Chris interjected and was like, listen, I do want to give you some reassurance that I'm okay with you being a mom. Like, I am truly okay. You are not the first mom that I'm probably going to meet. You're definitely not going to be the last. And I love that he did that for her, because I felt like with Jeremiah, she was almost afraid of sharing what should be like your proudest badge of honor that you wear. I felt like she was afraid to even dive into that and share that with the fear of losing him. And honestly, when she first told Jeremiah, I knew that he didn't want to be with her, but dare not he say that on television because he didn't want to look like a complete dick. But I was just happy that Chris gave her that. And you could kind of see she lit up. And it's a shame that a man has to tell you that for you to feel like you can, or to feel that comfort to share it and be proud of it. So big ups to Chris for doing that. Chris also said he wanted 5 kids, and Huda said she was open to more as long as she was married. Austin and Jaden. I'm really not interested in talking about Austin and Jaden, but I do understand that this is a show and I want to cover all of the bases. So Austin and Jaden, he asked her was she surprised that he picked her. She thanked him for saying, for not making her feel like she has anything to be worried about. So I guess she just thanked him for providing her with that reassurance that they were okay and they were strong enough to pick one another during a recoupling. They share a kiss. The end of that. I have read comments about how the world feels about Austin, and I feel like we are all in the same place. He's just like, you know, like a seat filler or somebody that is like, we don't know if we love him, we don't know if we hate him. Shit, we don't even know if we like him. I have been saying that Austin can go home, and I probably wouldn't notice that he was gone, just like Yulissa was within the first 1 to 2 episodes. Moving right along, Huda sits down with the girls and tells them about her and Chris's conversation. Shelly did that, you know, I think Huda was telling them about what he said about her being a mom. And Shelly was like, I mean, of course, I spent enough time with him, and Chris is a really nice guy, in which, you know, just because I chose Ace, that's only because I know my connection with Ace was stronger, but I do and will keep exploring my relationship with Chris because I do like him too. And it just wasn't enough time for me to choose him over Ace. So, you know, enough said. I think everybody, if you're still open, a conversation is not off limit with anybody as far as I'm concerned, because if you were so exclusive, you would close the hell off, right? So that was that. Amaya Papaya. My God, today. She just wakes up talking. And that is why I have kept saying, like, Amaya is too much for me personally. It's annoying. I hate that type of chipper. She is like my anxiety outside of my body. And I just can't take it. I just want to put a Xanax on it and just tell her to chill out. Like, please. Because why are you up singing for no reason that early in the damn morning? And then it's a self-made song. Like, you made this shit up in your head and then blurt. I just can't take Amaya. Anyway, watching all the guys bring in the women's breakfast. They all come in one by one. You see Nick bring in Sierra's breakfast. You see Taylor bring in Clark's. And that was pretty saddening to me to see, you know, Taylor bringing in Clark's breakfast and no longer feeling obligated to bring Olandria's because he didn't choose her, right? So why should he continue to bring her breakfast? But it's just sad to see her there with no possibilities, you know, no connections, nobody that she even thinks there's a connection with. And then Ace asks Taylor, does he regret his decision at all? Is he feeling any regret? And Taylor's like, no, I'm really content with my decision. You know, I'm keeping my decision. Yeah, this time I'm going to roll with my decision. You were hard decision, but, you know, I had all my heart to do my decision. I'm just like, oh, my gosh. Sierra, Olandria, and Shelly, they connect. And Olandria asks Sierra if she's going to continue to explore Elin. Sierra says she really doesn't want to because her and Nick are moving like it's just them two. However, they are not closed off. She even mentioned how Elin still brought her breakfast just like he was in Casa Amor. And it would be hard for her to be like, you know, don't bring me anything because I'm with Nick. So she doesn't want to do that because they're not closed off. But my thing is this. I feel like Sierra does want to be closed off. What is stopping them? And when I say them, I mean like Sierra and Ace. You both have mentioned in this episode alone that you would want to close off, but you don't want to make it seem like this. But my thing is this: you never know until you say something. I can't read your damn mind. If you want to close off, say that, because the other person can be feeling the exact same way. Olandria says she feels drained. She said that men always see her value after she leaves, and when she gone, she gone. I mean, we hear that a lot. I say that a lot, and I know my ass don't be gone, so I take that with a grain of salt. Nick, Ace, and Taylor, they are also conjuring up in a group. And Taylor expressed that he feels good and he feels 10 pounds lighter, that he's no longer in that triangle, like it was taxing on his mental. And I can understand that for Taylor. I mean, rejection is hard to receive it, and it's also hard doing it. They asked him, does he feel weird with Olandria still being there? And surprisingly, Taylor said no. I was also shocked because he was like, I don't feel awkward. In fact, I was the one that voted to keep her here. So why would I feel away that she is here? And I respected him for that. Even though he know it would probably be difficult for him to be around her, I'm hoping he made the decision not because Ace told him. I'm hoping he made that decision to keep Olandria solely because he knows that she's a good person. He knows that she had love for him, and he knows that she is deserving of love. Every time I see Olandria talking about wanting love so bad, I want it for her too. I know I mentioned they should have just let her go. And I think I feel like that because I've seen so much raw emotion from pretty much everybody, and people even crying on her behalf. But I haven't seen anything from her. And I'm not saying that I need you to cry to feel some emotion, but it would be nice to know that if you say you hurt, the emotion matches. If that makes any sense to anybody else besides myself. So yeah, I was proud of Taylor for that. For whatever the reason was, I hope it was for one of those reasons that I named, but who knows? Elon was talking to the guys, and he said he really wanted to explore Ciara until she tells him to stop. If she wants to close off and only wants to be for Nick, she needs to tell him that, because he said he's going to continue to be the charming, beautiful, handsome, intelligent guy that he is, and he wants to pursue her in the way that he was at Casa Amor. They skipped to Ace talking about Chris. Ace also mentioned that he's not bothered by Chris's presence at all. He said it just lets him know that he needs to step it up. I think in this setting, Ace also mentioned, like, I don't want to mention closing off right now to Shelly because I don't want her to think that I want her to close off just because she wants to explore Chris. And I don't want to seem like a cock blocker, right? I don't want to be like, I don't want you to explore this other man, so I want us to close off. And I understand that. However, could you have not told her in that same way? Like, hey, from the moment I picked you over Coco, and knowing how much I missed you and longed for you when you were there, and just figured no one else will do, I would like us to close off, but I want to do it when you're ready, because I'm telling you right now that I'm ready. That's the way that conversation should be had, because at that point, the ball is in Shelly's court, and whatever her decision is going to let you know how she is coming about you, because she could very well say, damn, he want to close off with me. She may not even take it the way you think she's going to take it. So that's why I say a closed mouth never gets fed. And if you want some, you got to speak up, because we need to hear you in the back. Chris talks about his relationship with Huda to a few of the guys. He also mentions that his intention to still pursue Shelly as well, and that Ace's presence also does not bother him. So may the best man win. And I think that should be the name of this episode. May the best man win, because there is a lot of measuring of the balls on this episode, and this can only get more interesting, especially if they plan on bringing any more people into the island. Iris sits down with Ciara poolside, and Ciara shared that her and Nick had sex again, right? She said this time it was a little bit longer. and it was definitely more intimate. She used a lot of metaphors and stuff like that to explain what it was like. She mentioned like a mountaintop, a valley low, a waterfall. So I read between the lines here. You said it was good. That's what she was saying. As they sat, they watched Taylor showing so much affection to Clark and was like, it's very weird to see him doing that with someone other than Alandria. But I'm like, is it me? Or are y'all not seeing the full picture of what we've been seeing as the audience? We haven't really seen Olandria and Taylor intimate in that way. We saw Olandria begging him like to put your hand on my thigh or I would need more from you. Then after that, we saw them starting to kiss a little bit. But as far as the touchy feeling and wanting to be in Olandria's skin, Taylor has never done that. So I don't know what they were seeing. They've been there longer than we have, so maybe they know something that we don't. Sierra also shared with Iris that she's happy that Olandria is exploring or has explored people like Jalen and Nick. And Iris was like, what? She explored Nick? And so, of course, Sierra filled her in on the recoupling and how those two were eliminated and had to come back as a couple. And Iris was like, how do you feel about that? Sierra said like she'd been telling everybody else, I didn't mind. And Iris was like, well, you're better than me because I would care. Like, why would your best friend even kiss your dude at all? And I felt Iris on that. I think I said that too. I'm like, girl, I don't care if I did know about the game. It's just the fact of the matter that it wasn't a challenge and y'all can figure out if you had a romantic connection without kissing. I don't know. I think romance comes in different forms and it does not always involve your hand under a skirt or your tongue in somebody else's mouth. So Shelly and Chris go for a stroll, right? They go to Soul Ties. You know, I feel like when people go to Soul Ties, it's something with it. Like you don't just go to Soul Ties for nothing. You go to Tie Soul. So Ace is looking as they walk to Soul Ties. She told Chris that she followed her heart with the decision. And he said he's not worried or concerned. Like he understood that they had a much longer connection and that she wanted to continue that. But he was like, you know, Shelly, I like you. You know, Shelly lifts my spirit. And I think that Ace said kind of the same sentiment when he was talking about Shelly. So this is going to be really interesting watching this story unfold. Ultimately, I will say I'm a huge Shelly and Nick advocate. If you don't know now, you know. I want to see them together and I want to see them win. I love the way Ace looks at Shelly. I love the way his tone doesn't change when he's talking to her. I love it. And I hope he's not acting because a few people have said on the TikTok that Ace was an actor. So I don't know. Ace and Taylor. So Ace and Taylor go into, it looked like the sauna room to me. So that's what I'm going to call it. And when they get into this room, Ace starts singing a completely different tone that he just sang when he was talking to Shelly. He told Shelly he was okay with her exploring. He just knows he needs to up his game. He's not worried. He understands and whoop-de-whoop, bleep-de-bleep. However, when he gets with Taylor, he's like, I find it so weird that Shelly is talking about this connection with Chris and how she's comparing us both because I made a real hard decision to get rid of Coco, somebody that I obviously like for you because my feelings were stronger and you feel like you can't let them go. He was like, why does she feel like she needs to explore this further if she feels like she got all she needs in me? This is difficult to navigate because, again, he's talking to the wrong person. Why didn't he just share that with Shelly when he spoke with her? I guess he just didn't want to seem insecure or anything like that. But I really wish he would have just been honest about his feelings. And I wonder if that would have changed her thoughts about it. Maybe they could have closed off at that point. But I think it is unfair of Ace to not understand where Shelly is right now. Because even if, like, Ace didn't pick Coco, suppose they voted to keep Coco in. I guarantee you if she would have stayed, Ace would have continued to explore that connection as well. So the fact that Chris is still, it's not Shelly's fault that Chris is still there. He's still there because he was selected. And because they had a connection and he is still there, they're naturally going to explore it. So I just think Ace needs to just suck it up and move on. Brian is fine. I can see why Ace shaking in his boots a little bit. That man is fine. And Ace also was like he hate losing. So I hope he don't lose. I really like him and Shelly together, and that's all I'm gonna say about that. Shelly pulls Ace, and then he addresses those concerns that I just spoke about. His concern with her still wanting to explore Chris. And he asked her, does she have any regret on her decision? Oh, that'd be sad for Ace a little bit. But she was like, no, she doesn't regret her decision. But she was like, because we are not closed off, I think I would do myself a disservice by not continuing to visit and explore a connection with him. Right there was another open avenue in which Ace could have said, well, I would love it if we could close off, and not because I don't want you to explore anybody else, but because I just want you. And I know that there's nothing that this villa can offer me that I don't already have in you. Had he said that, we could have nipped all this shit on in the bud. I should have been a man, because these men don't know what to do. They don't know what to do. Shelly also mentioned in this chat that, you know, we're not closed off. I want to continue to explore. And she was like, and I'm also finding myself wondering what life outside this villa could look like with you, because I do know that you're very busy. And I'm just concerned on how I would fit in that. I don't think that's a good excuse to use with Ace, because the other guy, Chris, on the other hand, he plays overseas. He plays basketball overseas for months, and he's only in LA for like a month or two. So, I mean, what are we doing here? And Ace did mention that, you know, if you were my partner outside in the real world, you'd be a priority. And the way that he looks at her, and I feel like he holds her to a high standard, and the way that he provides reassurance in that tone that I do like, I really like Ace. I really like Ace for Shelly. I hope they close off. Shelly says she doesn't know what to do. She's just trying to remember that she is the prize. And I love that for her. I love somebody that knows that they should be worked hard for. I love that for her. Taylor walks across the villa to get Clark. And I don't know about y'all, but I don't think she really likes Taylor, y'all. I really think that she knew he was going to be an easy target to make fall. And there was an easy way and route to secure herself into the villa. But when he's talking to her, I sense that he really likes her. But when she's talking to him, I know that she does. Her mouth says she's really happy, but I just don't believe it. I don't pick up what she's putting down. Is it just me? Please drop down in the comments to tell me what y'all think. They got back to me and Ace sitting and talking. And y'all, why did Chris come grab Ace? Ooh, child, I was very interested in how this conversation would go. Chris pulls Ace and says, you know, man, I just didn't want there to be any unnecessary tension. I don't want this to be a competition of who got the biggest balls. I just want to let you know, I think Shelly is a beautiful girl inside out. I want to continue to explore that. I don't want to step on your toes, but I'm just not that kind of man that's going to be beefing about something like this. But I just want to come to you man to man and let you know. And Ace kind of reciprocates, you know, that stance. And again, may the best man win, hashtag. They get a text. They get a text about the heart rate challenge, right? And as they prepare for this challenge, Nick told Ciara that he's going to crash out if she does the most with Elan. Not Nick, who made her go through a week and a half of deciding if he was going to choose between her and Belle A. Like, no, sir. Belle A, Bella, whichever you want to call it. It spelled like Belle A, so that's what I'm going to call it then. Everybody's talking about what they're going to do with their person that they're coupled with. Elan and Elandria saying, oh, we're going to pull the two people that dumped us. We're going to pull them at the end for our finale. And is it me or am I the only one who was like, that's not a good damn idea. I could do without seeing Elandria take 3 steps back to Taylor in any capacity. I would have loved to see her pull somebody else to make him jealous. And as far as even him with Ciara, she clearly chose Nick. They over there bumping and grinding at night. I would have loved Elan to pull somebody else too. Maybe he could have pulled somebody he knows Ciara was close to. I think that would have made a huger impact for the both of them. So for this challenge, I was a bit confused when it first started off, but I'm glad that The first people who went, I really wasn't a fan of. Don't remember who it was, but I really didn't understand what this challenge was about until the end. Really, have to call me slow, call me whatever you want to call me. But I'm not going to even mention everybody's kiss, but I do want to talk about the people that I'm interested in hearing more about and seeing more of. So I'm going to just point out the things that stood out to me. I will note that this is the first challenge that Amaya didn't annoy the living shit out of me. I was just super excited to see her in this capacity. I think this kind of challenge really suited her personality, so it didn't work against her like it usually does for me personally. But Amaya was very flirty. She was very cute. She kissed Sierra. I was shocked by that. I'm like, oh, the girls having more fun with the girls than the guys. I just thought that was just crazy. But anyway, to each his own. Taylor's reaction when Andrina got on him was so damn funny. Andrina is built like a goddamn brick house. Do you understand me? It was the dump truck. It's any analogy you want to use. It was all this. She looked the fuck good, okay? The fact that Taylor didn't know what to do. He ain't never had that much woman on him, baby. Never. And baby, it showed. Because he didn't even look like he could move when that girl was on him. And I'm like, girl, you better watch out, because Clark, he will dump you with the quickness if Andrina decided to give him a chance. And I feel like he would dump her if anybody else new came in that was a bit more attractive to him than her. Anyway, I would have swerved Austin immediately if he would have came to me in those shorts looking that way. Okay? Please don't come to me, Austin. Jaden, who was with Austin, she also saying that Sierra's a better kisser than Nick. Weird. Shelly and Ace. Let's talk Shelly and Ace, y'all, because I ain't never seen Shelly turn up like that in the challenge. I've seen Shelly get down, but I ain't seen her get down there, right? That kiss that Shelly gave Brian was hot AF. No, was it Brian or Chris? I don't know, but it was hot as fuck. I've always said this too. Ace can really kiss. He seems like a passionate kisser. I watched him kiss Iris one time, and I was like, oh, he kissing. Like, oh, I like somebody that can kiss a little bit. During their segment, Ace and Shelly went back a second time to kiss Chris. So she would get Chris. It wasn't Brian. She came back a second time to kiss Chris. And I was like, boy, she liked him. She really liked him. Ace gave Andrina an old nasty ass kiss too. And for their finale, they pulled Amaya onto the thing and was like, hey, babe. And then they did a threesome kiss. Y'all, that shit was so nasty. That made Amaya's whole entire life. Huda and Chris. Huda put on a show too. She was definitely a stripper in her past time or past life, and probably still is. We don't know. During their segment, Shelly was upset with Huda. In that moment, I was like, why is Shelly upset with Huda? But afterwards, when Shelly discussed it, I kind of understood, and I'll talk about this shortly. Andrina kissed Pepe during her turn, and he definitely returned serve on her ass. He came back to grab a handful of that ass. And Sierra and Nick, they stole Shelly's thing, pulling one girl up. Who did they pull up? They pulled up Shelly. They pulled up Shelly. Then Olandria and Elon, of course. They pulled up Taylor and Sierra. And Nick was tight, saying he don't fuck with Elon and stuff like that. Not Nick being a poor sport after he made this poor girl fight for him over a week and a half of ballet once again. I'm not going to even play with him. I ain't going to even give him no more. I ain't going to shed no more light onto Nick today. I feel like I said his name way too many times. But at the end, y'all, they did give the results of whose heart rate was raised the most by what person. So Iris' heart rate was raised most by Nick. Amaya's was raised highest by Pepe. Andrina was raised the most by Pepe. Go on, Pepe. Jaden's heart rate was raised most by Nick. So I heard Nick's name a few times through here. Huda's heart rate was raised the most by Elon. Grayson, I don't even know her. They let me know she needs to go home. Grayson's heart rate was raised by Nick. Sierra's by Elon. Olandria by Chris. Clark's was raised by Ace the most. TJ's heart rate was raised by Grayson. Zach K by Ciara. Brian's heart rate was raised the most by Ciara. Austin's heart rate was raised by Amaya. Chris's heart rate was raised, of course, the most by Shelly. Pay by Andrina. We knew this shit. I saw that through the TV. Nick heart rate was increased the most by Iris. I thought that was very, like, wow, I was shocked by that one. And Elon's heart rate was raised most by Ciara. Taylor's heart rate was raised most by Olandria. And Ace's heart rate was raised more by Huda. Well, like, what did Huda do specifically to Ace? I feel like I've already said this in my last video. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. Huda is very nasty. She gives me very, I'm gonna say a New York Tiffany Pollard line. Very gutter butt. Something about her gives me very nasty, like almost like lick butt crack. Like I feel like she is just down and dirty for anybody that shows her interest at the time. And she really gives me the girl who gives it up quick, and then her heart is so broken that the dude leaves. But it's like, girl, you didn't give him anything to work for. That's the type of person that Huda gives me. I could be wrong, but those are just my thoughts. Let me know what y'all think below. But one thing that I did gather from this whole thing and all the results of the heart rate challenge is that poor Olandria. And I feel like I've been saying poor Olandria for 3 damn days. I'm so tired of feeling sorry for her at this point. I wish she could go home. But the only heart rate that she made race was Taylor. And as far as I'm concerned, he should not even count for her. I feel so bad. Anyway, they get another text saying the couples who made everyone's heart rate raise the most was Ciara and Nick. And I wasn't surprised by that. Ciara had sex appeal. Ciara had all the women choosing her. And, and she raised the most blood pressures in the men. So, really, it had nothing to do with Nick. I feel like Ciara wanted for him. So, as we near the end of this episode, the girls gather with Shelly to discuss her issue with Huda. And I think after Shelly explained it and explained her stance in this situation, it made a little bit more sense to me. But I still was like, but it's a challenge. So let's talk about where Huda had her fucked up at, right? Huda says, like, she gets it. Shelly says that she understands that it's a game. However, she just wished that Huda gave her that same courtesy and respect that they have given her with Jeremiah, that she would have gave it to her, knowing that Ace is her man. And we could say, well, you were heavy on her match, but we know that they just picked each other for convenience. They want to explore a connection, but she has to know that Shelly was with Chris for the whole 3 days in Casa Amor. So, of course, they have a connection that they want to continue to explore as well. But when Shelly did mention that when we had challenges, we wouldn't go hard with Jeremiah because there was a respect that this is Huda's man. And even though it is a challenge, I don't want her to feel anyway or like I'm after her little piece or whatever, right? Andrina and a few of the other girls, I think Andrina and Amaya were over there with Huda. And Huda's like, and this is another thing that Huda does that I've noticed. She's always a victim with these crocodiles here. She's like, Shelly's really mad at me. I don't know why she's mad at me. It was just a challenge. I don't know why she's mad at me. And then within a second, it flipped. And she was like, she could be real mad because I made his heart rate raise the fastest. It was like, so who are you? And I know I'm a Shelly stan. So I don't want to be biased in this situation because honestly, when it was first brought up that Shelly was upset, I was like, oh, why is she mad? Now I feel like I need to go back and watch it. However, when Shelly explained it, now I'm like, that makes perfect sense. If I give you respect with your man, like we did you with Jeremiah, please give me the same respect. But Huda was turning upside down and putting her coochie in people's face. It was on a whole nother level. And again, I said that, go back and watch the last video. She's nasty. I did find it very interesting that while Andrina was over there listening to Huda act like she didn't know why Shelly was mad at all, we saw Andrina then walk over where Shelly and the other girls were. and said, yeah, she's saying she doesn't know why you're mad, but I completely understand you. I feel like Adrena was more on the side of Shelly. What y'all think? Do y'all think that Shelly has a valid reason to be upset with Huda knowing this is a challenge? Are all bets off when it's a challenge? Or do we understand her? We understand her allegiance to friendship with the ladies and how they were with Jeremiah in respecting Huda's relationship and her feelings. Please let me know what y'all thoughts are. I love this show. I love this show because it does allow us to hear each other's perspective. Again, I said this in a previous video. We are watching the same show. Think about this. We watch the same show every day, and we think completely different. We love someone completely different. We hate someone completely different. We want to vote off someone completely different. So I love that this show is objective. It allows us to see other perspectives. And I think we navigate closely to those people that we see ourselves in and the type of people that we like to see ourselves with. So yes, I feel like I'm going forever to the end of this thing be Team Ace and Shelly, and I'm just Team Sierra. I'm not so much Team Nick, because sometimes I love Nick, sometimes I hate him. I just don't know where I lie with him. So I guess we'll let America decide for us. So that is how the episode ended, y'all. What are y'all's predictions about what's to come? Is Huda and Shelly gonna make up? How does this Chris, Ace, and Shelly triangle saga end? There was also a point in this episode where Taylor mentioned he wouldn't mind continuing to explore a connection with Olandria. How crazy is that? I definitely would want to see that. What would y'all like to see? Please drop down below in the comments. Let me know your thoughts on my commentary. Let me know your thoughts about the show and what are your predictions. Please like this video. Subscribe to my channel because I want to talk about Love Island amongst other things. But until next time, peace.